such events. UN has actually conferred him a title Ambassador of Peace. So we're very fortunate to have Swamiji here. Without further ado, Puja Swamiji.
Friends, it is very much in our tradition that before we commence anything, any event, we invoke the presence of Lord there, the presence and the grace. Among all strengths, there are several types of strengths, powers, several types of powers. Among all these, Daivabalam, the strength that comes in the form of blessing from Lord, is the greatest of all strengths. Irrespective of your richness in other forms of strength, other versions of strength, if you lack God's grace, all your efforts will be futile. That is what Indian history has clearly taught us. So therefore, in compliance with the tradition that we have been maintaining since the days of yore, let us commence today's event with a bit of prayer. First will be a Namavali on Sri Ramakrishna. Simply repeat after me. Only now I am learning harmonium. I am still in LKG. If I commit any error in between, simply overlook that. Bhajo mana Ramakrishna,
Bhajo mana Ramakrishna,
Bhajo mana Ramakrishna,
Bhajo mana Ramakrishna,
Ramakrishna 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 Ramakrishna, Ramakrishna Ramakrishna,
Ramakrishna bhajo re,
Ramakrishna bhajo re,
Bhajo mana Ramakrishna,
Bhajo mana Ramakrishna,
Bhajo mana Ramakrishna,
Bhajo mana Ramakrishna,
Ramakrishna 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 bhajo re,
Ramakrishna bhajo re,
Bhajo mana Ramakrishna, Bhajo mana Ramakrishna, Ramakrishna Ramakrishna, Ramakrishna Ramakrishna, Ramakrishna Ramakrishna,
ಸಾಕು ಸಾಕು
Ramakrishna Ramakrishna, Ramakrishna Ramakrishna,
ಸಾಕು
Ramakrishna bhajo re, bhajo mana Ramakrishna, 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 ಮೊಬೈಲ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಅಸ್ತು ಬರುತ್ತೇನೆ ಬರುತ್ತಾ This is Devi temple, you know. We'll have one prayer on Devi. Please repeat. Perhaps you all know Namastestu Mahamaya about Maharashtra. Namastestu Mahamaye.
Namastestu Mahamaye.
Shri Pite Surapujite.
Shri Pite Surapujite.
Shankha Chakra Gada Haste.
Shankha Chakra Gada Haste.
Mahalakshmi Namostute.
Mahalakshmi Namostute.
Namaste Garudarudhe.
Namaste Garudarudhe.
Olasura Bhayankari.
Olasura Bhayankari.
Sarva Papa Hare Devi.
Sarva Papa Hare Devi.
Mahalakshmi Namostute.
Mahalakshmi Namostute.
Sarvajne Sarvavarade.
Sarvajne Sarvavarade.
Sarvadushta Bhayankari.
Sarvadushta Bhayankari.
Sarvadukha Hare Devi.
Sarvadukha Hare Devi.
Mahalakshmi Namostute.
Mahalakshmi Namostute.
Siddhi Buddhi Prade Devi.
Siddhi Buddhi Prade Devi.
Bhukti Mukti Pradayini.
Mukti Mukti Pradayini.
Mantramurte Sada Devi.
Mantramurte Sada Devi.
Mahalakshmi Namostute.
Mahalakshmi Namostute.
Adyantarahite Devi.
Adyantarahite Devi.
Adya Shakti Maheshwari.
Adya Shakti Maheshwari.
Yoga Jai Yoga Sambhute.
Yoga Jai Yoga Sambhute.
Mahalakshmi Namostute.
Mahalakshmi Namostute.
Sthula Sukshma Maharudre.
Stula Sukshma Maharaudre.
Mahashakti Mahodaye.
Mahashakti Mahodaye.
Mahapapa Hare Devi.
Mahapapa Hare Devi.
Mahalakshmi Namostute.
Mahalakshmi Namostute.
Padmasanasthite Devi.
Padmasanasthite Devi.
Parabrahmasvarupini.
Parabrahmaswarupini.
Parameshi Jagannmata.
Parameshi Jagannmata.
Mahalakshmi Namostute.
Mahalakshmi Namostute.
Shvetambaradhare Devi.
Shvetambaradhare Devi.
Nanalankara Bhushite.
Nanalankara Bhushite.
Jagasthite Jagannmata.
Jagasthite Jagannmata.
Mahalakshmi Namostute.
Mahalakshmi Namostute.
जगस्थिते जगन्माता
जगस्थिते जगन्माता
महालक्ष्मी नमोस्तुते
महालक्ष्मी नमोस्तुते
जगस्थिते जगन्माता
जगस्थिते जगन्माता
महालक्ष्मी नमोस्तुते
महालक्ष्मी नमोस्तुते
Thank you. You sang very well. Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine avatara varishtaya Ramakrishhnaya te namaha pavitram charitam yasyaha pavitram jivanam tatha pavitrata svarupinyai tasyai kurmo namo namaha Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swami Tapaharine Mokam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Krupa Tamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Vireshwarananda Dayamrutabdhim Shri Ranganathan cha Vijnana Bhanam Chidananda Rupa Shri Purushottamariyam Dhyayan Hrudisthan Kritinam Hyavaini The President of this Temple Committee, Secretary, Treasurer, all office bearers, Shri Vidyasagarji, Arunaji, Shri Venkatesh, Srimati Smita, and all dear friends. I am extremely happy to be with you today. We expound about a subject that interests me a lot. Spirituality from Indian perspective. Religion and spirituality, they are a bit different. They are not so much different from Indian standpoint of view, but from the conventional point of view, especially as they are understood in West, they are a bit different. For an Indian, spirituality is a fundamental requirement, a primary requirement. His true education is in spirituality. Education without a spiritual element in that, education that does not lead him to spiritual fervor, spiritual anticipations, spiritual seekings, is a ruthlessly or hopelessly incomplete education for an Indian. We have never divided life as secular and spiritual life any time. In Indian context, there is no demarcation like this is secular, this is spiritual, never. Everything is spiritual for us. Vivekananda puts it so beautifully. A Hindu is born religiously, he marries religiously, he educates himself religiously, he dies religiously. There is a profound meaning in the statement of Vivekananda, just as every statement of him has got a mine of meaning. Spirituality, remember, is something, a process, a sort of a process or a training whereby you unearth a mine of strength in comparison with which all other sources of power, they are nothing. They are not even an intellectual giant, a great thinker, a world-renowned scientist. They are all kindergarten students compared with a man who has reached that point of accomplishment in spirituality. This wisdom India long ago found out. And therefore, it made it almost mandatory for every Indian to seek spirituality and spiritual advancement. Enter into spirit, it left no stone unturned in the motivating a man to enter into spiritual world, to seek the highest accomplishment therein. Children should not move, please. Don't run here and there. Why there was so much of obsession with spirituality? Because that should be the be-all and end-all for man. Because they understood the implications of spiritual development in one's life. They understood the role that spirituality plays in enriching the personality of a man as well as enriching his life itself. Nowhere in this world, nowhere in the history of the world, we see so much of keenness, intellectual keenness, astuteness shown as it has been shown by the seers of India ages ago. They were never satisfied with the tidbits of this world. They were never satisfied to be a part of this world. They were never satisfied to be the emperor of this world. Taittiriya Upanishad, in no uncertain terms, declares Sarvesham Prithivim Vittasya Purnasya. You may be in possession of all the riches that earth can offer to you, the planet earth can offer to you. Sarvesham Prithivim Vittasya Purnasya. You are in complete possession of all the richness, all the riches that are there in this world. Not only you have that, Ashishto, Drudishto, Badishtaha, you are most optimistic, very sturdy, very strong. Yuva Syat Sadhu Yuva Dhyayakaha, you are a vigorous young man. You are in the prime of your youth. Sadhu, you are a highly virtuous man. You are a young man, highly virtuous. Sadhu, Yuvadhyayakaha, highly scholarly, a renowned scholar you are. You are young, most virtuous, highly scholarly. At your disposal, you have the whole wealth of all the earth. What else do you want? Perhaps for a Westerner, this is more than enough. 10 times more than enough. 100 times more than enough. 1,000 times more than enough. But Sanatana Dharma, Vedic religion will say, you have achieved only 1 unit of human potentiality. A human is not potential of achieving only this much. There is tremendous potentiality inside. Tremendous potentiality. How much of potentiality? You are supposed to be, you are born for, you are meant to be the ruler of the whole universe. Why confine yourself to the planet Earth? Why confine yourself only to solar system? Why confine yourself only to one particular galaxy or one Milky Way? You have the ability to control universe, or to put it in today's language of physics, you can control the whole multiverse or the whole creation. Universe or multiverse or whatever. Whole creation should stand in awe before you, and it should carry out your commands. That is your standing. That is the standing you are meant to achieve. You are supposed to achieve. Because you are a human being. You are not anyone belonging to subhuman species. You are not a unicellular organism or a multicellular organism. You are a man. You are a human being. Acharya Shankara puts it so beautifully in his Vivekananda, in his third shloka. Durlabham trayame vaitat. To be in possession of these 3 things. So rare to be in possession of these 3 things. Durlabham. Trayam eva etat. These 3 are extremely rare. It is not possible for anyone and everyone to be in possession of these 3. Durlabham trayame vaitat. Daivanugrahetum. God alone should sanction. God alone should give us these 3. Daivanugrahetukam. What are those 3? Manushyatvam, human birth. Mumukshutvam, that keen desire to reach the culmination of all the abilities the culmination of the realization of the abilities that are encased in you. That is mumukshutvam. Moksha kamsha mumukshata. Moksha means, remember, moksha is not something like normally we understand. There is a sage living in a cave with a long beard, not at all interested in the affairs outside. Now and then he comes to his normal senses, eats one or two fruits, drinks some milk, again goes into meditation, and he spends his whole life that way. This is how normally the picture of a sage comes, or a man striving for moksha comes before our eyes whenever we hear a term of that sort. That is okay, that is true. But at the same time, he is a repository of all power that you can ever imagine, even in your wildest dreams. He is the repository of all power. Take into consideration any sort of power, intellectual power, power to rule the world, power to wield an influence on anything, to whatever extent that you want, power for doing anything, power for stopping sunrise, power for stopping sunset, power for doing anything. Again, Taittiriya Brahmavit Atmoti Param, the one who possesses Brahma has every power in his hand, everything in his hand. There is nothing that is impossible for him. When he can control the whole creation, what is the thing that is impossible for him? This is the aim of spirituality. There is a training. There is a training adaptable for every man. There is a training meant for human beings whereby one can lift himself to this level. Why settle down for anything lower than that? Why settle down for anything lower than that, howsoever great, howsoever glorious that lower stage may be? Because in India, we have our own definition of success. We never say that man is successful, seeing that his achievement like he has become Prime Minister of a country or he has become a Nobel laureate. That is nothing. We never certify a man that he is a successful man just because he has done something of this sort that I just now mentioned. That is nothing. Because for us, success is not studied or success is not measured independent of anything. There is something that you have to take into consideration whenever you term something as success or no. What is that? Success, we say, in India, we say, success cannot be and should not be measured in terms of what a man has achieved. Then how else? How much a man has achieved compared to how much he could have achieved. How much you have achieved compared to what you could have achieved. You have a mind of strength in you and you have done something. We don't say you have thrown away your life. You have wasted your life. You are a waste body. You are a billionaire and you have constructed a house worth $1 million. And you say, my worth, I have a house that is worth $1 million. Your father has given you $1 billion rupee property. $1 billion, billion rupee, trillion, something of that sort. And how much of that, how much of possession you have making use of that? Only a fraction of that you have not been able to use. That is how we look at the success of a man in Indian tradition. So man, what's your potentiality? How much you have brought with you? How much you have inherited? Just because you are a human, on having human birth, how much nature has bestowed to you? How much it has given? This used to be the constant refrain, this used to be the fundamental theme about which Indian education system always would emphasize. In Mundukopanishad, we come across a question put forth to the teacher by a student. Wonderful question. It is that sort of questions that really characterize Indian mentality, Indian academic discipline, Indian academic pursuits. What is the question put forth by the disciple? He asks his guru, "Sir, what is it by knowing which I have known all? I am not just interested in being master of physics. I am not interested in becoming an authority in economics. I am not just interested in knowing a bit of medical science. I should know that by knowing which I have known everything in this universe, everything that is worth knowing, everything that is knowable. I must be that sort of a knower. Is there any device whereby by knowing something I have known everything? Is there any way?" Beautiful is the question, equally beautiful is the answer. The Guru says, yes, there is a way, there is a way, there is a way. Kasminno bhagavo vijnate sarvam vidam vijnatam bhavati. This is the question. Kasminno bhagavo, Bhagavan. During those times, teacher used to be called addressed like that. Bhagavan. Kasminno bhagavo vijnate sarvam vidam vijnatam bhavati. The Guru says, yes. Dve vidye veditavye. There are two branches of knowledge by knowing which you have known everything. Para, aparat cha. Paravidya and Aparavidya. Once you know Paravidya and Aparavidya, you have known everything knowable in this creation. So two types of knowledge, two branches of knowledge are there according to Indian tradition. Paravidya and Aparavidya. Just in a nutshell, I define what is meant by Paravidya and what is meant by Aparavidya. Anything pertaining to the objective world is Aparavidya. The knowledge of the knower that tries to know everything, the knowledge of the knower. What is the nature of the knower? How this knower is? How this knower, who is he? Who is the knower? Is it the eye that sees? Normally we say, eye sees, I will not see. I cannot see. Ear hears, normally we think, no, ear cannot hear. Long discussions of this sort we find in Upanishads. Upanishad, remember, no scientific world has probed into the nature of reality as much as the series of Upanishads have done. That is why the other day, today morning I quoted John Wheeler, a Nobel laureate who succeeded Albert Einstein in Princeton University. The other day he has said, it seems the seers of India knew it all. If we can simply translate into our language what they have done in their language, we would have answers for all our questions. This is not said by an Indian. This is not said by a Hindu. Much less this is said by a Brahmana. This is said by a Nobel laureate working for Princeton University, man that sat in the chair where Einstein sat once upon a time. Not an ordinary fellow, not a mediocre. See the language. It seems the seers of India know it all. What made him think on those lines? His guru must have told him very clearly. Neil Bohr. His guru was Neil Bohr. Neil Bohr must have clearly said, Neil Bohr himself says, I go into Upanishads to ask questions. I go into Upanishads to ask questions. All these people, this great man, again John Wheeler says, another most beautiful statement he makes at one point of time. You know what he says? It is so interesting to note that Erwin Schrödinger, father of quantum physics, Robert Oppenheimer, father of atom bomb, and Neil Bohr, father of modern chemistry, they were all Upanishad scholars. It is so interesting to note. Is there any relation between the knowledge one can find, the topic of discussion that one can find in Upanishad and topics of discussion that one can find in modern physics? There has to be some relation. Why there has to be? There is a relation. Emphatically I say, there is an undeniable relation between the facts that Upanishads discuss and the facts that today attract the attention of the scientific community. That is why spirituality is inclusive of all sciences. Spirituality is inclusive of everything under the sun. Spirituality is it is an all-comprehensive science. It's all-inclusive science. If you want at all, if you want to aim at your attention, if you want to aim at something, if you want to invest your time, your energy, your life upon something, then it should be worthy of it. What is it that is worthy of it? If there is anything, if there is something by knowing which I have known all, now I count it is something that is worthy of having been paid all my attention to. I am not interested in something lower than that. So Paravidya and Aparavidya. Aparavidya, it pertains to the knowledge pertaining to the objective world. There is a subject inside that studies the objective world. All details will come. How much of study I have to make? I need to study stone, I need to study mud, I need to study galaxies, I need to study all those things. Again, it's a Herculean task. One cannot accomplish it in one birth. Even in multiple births, one cannot accomplish it. Upanishad says they were not just interested in simply suggesting something theoretically and stopping there only. They went still further. They went up to Chandogya Upanishad, and there we get the beautiful idea as to how to have the knowledge of one thing whereby we have the knowledge of every other thing. There comes a conversation between father and son, guru and disciple. Aruni is the father, Shvetaketu is the son. Shvetaketu is disciple, Aruni is father. During those times, father himself used to be teacher. Son himself used to be disciple. Several such instances we come across. There, Shvetaketu puts a question to his father. Sir, father, how difficult it is to know the universe. I want to know the whole universe. I want to have the all knowledge of it. How difficult it is. Is there a way? So much of discussion takes place. I am not going to enter into all those elaborations. I simply present before you the gist of what took place between those two souls. Is there any way? Father comes out with a beautiful solution. He says, son, it is not necessary that to study huge banyan tree, you need to study every leaf, every bark of that, every leaf of that, every flower of that, every nut that it gives. All these details you need not study for studying a huge banyan tree, a mountainous banyan tree. Just to study that microscopic tiny seed of banyan tree, you have studied the whole tree itself. There is nothing in the tree that is already not there in that microscopic seed. Howsoever huge the tree may appear. Universe may be huge, but remember, there is a seed for this universe. Just to study that. And where is that seed? That seed is you. Shvetaketu Tattvamasi. It is you. Study yourself. You have known the whole universe. Study yourself. You have known the whole universe. So studying oneself is the culmination of all studies. Knowing I is the be all and end all of spirituality. That is the beginning and end all of all spiritual endeavors. Just to know who I am. Adhyatma. Spirituality in Sanskrit, Adhyatma. Mark the term Atma there. Adhyatma means making yourself most predominant among all your endeavors. No self. What is the nature of it? How rich is that? How to make use of all the richness of that self for your day-to-day endeavors? Is it of any use at all for you? Is it something that is useful only for seers, sages, sannyasis? Or has it got any sort of mundane implication too? That you can lay your hand on that every time that you want to get something. Will it be of helpful to you? Will it be of any help to you in your day-to-day life? All these discussions will go around that knowing self. No self, finish. Your life's mission is accomplished. A student studying in Madras University one day went to Ramana Maharshi. So many people were sitting in front of Maharshi. Maharshi used to always be silent. He would always observe silence. That is the way he would teach people. Dakshinamurti Acharya Shankara has composed a great hymn about Dakshinamurti Stotram, world-renowned, very famous, quite popular Dakshinamurti Stotram. There he describes how that Dakshinamurti is. Maunavyakhya prakatita para brahma tattvam yuvanam Vishwam darpana drishyamada nagari tulyo nijantargata. Many of you might have known about that. Maunavyakhya. Gurostu Maunavyakhyanam Shishyastu Chinna Samshayaha. All the knots of doubt that are there in the minds of Shishyas, they are extricated by virtue of the transmission silently taking place by the Guru to Shishya. All knowledge is being transmitted. Silently it is taken. Not a single word is uttered, but all their doubts are clear. Om Namah Pranavarthaya Shuddha Jnaneka Murtaye. Gurostu Maunavyakhyanam Shishyastu Chinna Samshayaha Vruddha Shishya Guru Yuvaha. This Guru is an young man. All the Shishyas are Vruddhas. That is how the picture is. Dakshinamurti picture is depicted by Acharya Shankara in his Dakshinamurti Stotra. This young man went to Ramana Maharshi. Silently he went to Ramana Maharshi and whispered in his ear, "Sir, please teach me something." Maharshi said, "Go and sit there. Let everyone go out. Later I will teach you." He went and sat in the midst of people there. After some time, everybody went out because it was lunch hour, it seems. So when stomach god, pehle petoba, baad mein vitoba. When stomach starts drawing your attention towards you, nothing will come. Everybody started moving towards dining hall. After everyone has gone out, young man again came and whispered in the ears of Maharshi, "Sir, everyone has gone out, I only am here." Maharshi immediately said, "Let that I also get out. I will teach you. I only am here, everyone has gone out." Maharshi curiously looked at him and said, "Let that I also get out. Afterwards I will teach you." Shishya got all the teaching that he was anticipating for. Let that I also get. Can that I go out? Then what is that I? Elimination of I is the be all and end all of all education. I should get out. Mercilessly tell your I, get out. I alone want to be here. Therefore, my dear I, you get out. Why? Because I want to be here. Therefore, you, Mr. I, you get out. It may sound a bit paradoxical. Remember, in every man there are two men. In every woman there are two women. In everything, not only two, in every object in this world, there are three things. Gross, subtle and subtlest. A scientist will say, an ordinary man will say, a layman will say, this is ebonite, if it is made of him, or this is wood. An layman will say, this is wood. But a scientist will say, that is not wood, wood is the appearance. Then what is it exactly? It is electromagnetic field appearing as wood under certain conditions like temperature and pressure that is there in the laboratory. It is everything in this universe is electromagnetic field, including space. But the Rishi, the Sanatani will say, it is not even electromagnetic field, something else appearing as electromagnetic field. It is your perception that is saying it is electromagnetic field. Your perception is wrong. Then what else is that? That is Brahman. Because you are looking at Brahman in your Jagrata Avastha, it is appearing as electromagnetic field for you. Jagrata Avastha is not at all conducive for seeing at things in their truth, in their reality. Nothing will appear in its true form when you look at that in your Jagrata Avastha. You all know about Jagrata Avastha being people of Indian origin. There are 4 states of consciousness for man. Waking state, dream state, deep sleep state and transcendental state. These are the 4 different states where our consciousness will always function. Now we are all in the waking state. Because we are in the waking state, everyone will have same perception. Sky appears as sky for all of us. It is sky for somebody, it is hill for some other person, it is a buffalo for some other person, not like that. The nature of the thing depends upon the state in which the seer is. The sky is not sky, there is no sky. There is no sky there. There is no board there. There is no roof there. Nothing in this room as it appears now is there. It is in some other form. But because we are all looking at that, in that waking state of consciousness, all of us have the same perception. Every human will have the same perception. Subhuman species will have different perceptions. Remember, a stone is not stone for each and every living being. Stone is stone only for human beings. Stone is not stone for a deer. Stone is not stone for an ant. Stone is not stone for a plant. But remember, life is there in all these different species. Life is there. Life is very much there. But their perception of a thing is not like we do perceive. For the reason, the level of consciousness decides the perception. This must give you all the hint that is needed for knowing then who we are really. Let us forget about every other thing. Let us not bother about every other thing. Who we are really. In what state of consciousness that now presently we are looking at ourselves. Obviously, in the waking state of consciousness, you are looking at yourself. Then how should I look at myself? You must look at yourself in the transcendental state. Unless and until you look at a thing in transcendental state, nothing in this universe will reveal out itself in its truest form. Eddington, British scientist, a great physicist, especially astrophysicist. In BBC, one of BBC interviews, he says, physicists may strive like anything for knowing about the truth about this world. They will never even touch the fringe of reality unless and until they learn that the consciousness of the scientist is the first thing that they have to pay their attention towards for studying any other thing objectively. Wonder, this he learned only from India. All these things today, if scientists are speaking in this language in the Western Hemisphere, remember this wisdom came to them invariably from India. I am not saying this in a chauvinistic sense. I am saying this only to trigger pride in you that what sort of land this great India is. What sort of land that you all belong to. What a holy land. What a great land that you all belong to. What a great race you all belong to. I don't mean one should be racial. Not that way. If an Indian becomes a fanatic, there is nothing, no harm will ever be done to any man who is not an Indian. History does not say that. History has no corroboration for that. The pride of an Indian, arrogance of an Indian, fanaticism of an Indian, chauvinism of an Indian is never harmful for others. It is never harmful. It is not like what it would be for a German counterpart or an English counterpart or anything of that sort. That is, no one should study India just as he studies some country from West or some country from Far East. No one should study India that way. That is where many of the historians are committing blunders. Therefore, all rubbish things they are putting into the syllabus of India. They are preparing books, they are writing books containing all rubbish about India, like Aryans have come from outside of India and all sorts of senseless things. Not so. So this man got the answer from Ramana Maharshi. Then how that I will go out? How that I will go out? There are two types of men in every man. Spirituality's endeavor is to remove the false man from the real man and let the real man reign supreme. That is all. That is all. In Sanskrit, there is a term called as aham. There is also a term called as atma. Both mean I. Atma means I. Aham means I. But remember, these two eyes are two different eyes. Whatever perception or whatever description that presently you have about your own self, it all pertains to that aham and not atma. Aham means I am son of, if you are a male, I am son of Mr. So-and-so. I am in Los Angeles. This is my profession. My salary is this much. This lady, this is my wife. This is my son. This is my daughter. This is my house. My father is this gentleman. My mother is this great lady. Whatever picture that you are depicting about your own self, you are portraying about your own self, remember, all that constitute aham, your perception. That everything pertains to your gross body and your subtle body and not the real body, the real self that is inside. Then who are you? You are Atman. You are Atman. What is the nature of that Atman, sir? There is a lot of description about the characteristics of Atman. The Atman in the Upanishadic lore, I just put it in three terminologies: Sarvajnaha, Sarvavyapihi, Sarvashaktiman. Sapariyaga Chukrama Karyamauranam Asnaviram Shuddham Apapaviddham Kavirmadeshi Paribhusvayambo Ishavasa says Abhinashita Tadvidhe Yena Sarvam Vidam Tatam Vidasham Avayasyasya Nakaschit Kartuvarasi. Nainam Chandantu Shastra Krishna goes on describing about the beauties and nature of Atman. You are that. To put it in one sentence, Yama defines Atma so beautifully in Kathopanishad. What does he say? Tadunatyati kaschana yetat vaitat. The one that is never defeated by any other thing. The one that is never, the one that is supreme compared to any other thing in this universe. Above which there is nothing. The one better than which there is nothing. The one more powerful than which there is nothing that is more powerful than Atma. It is always in superlative degree. Atma always occupies that superlative position. Nothing is even comparable to it. Tadunatyati question. Literal meaning of that is, howsoever close you may go there, it will still be a bit away. You can never reach it. That is the literal meaning. You can never reach and touch Atma, howsoever close you may be, howsoever closest proximity that you may go to, that still will be away from you, not accessible to you. That lies a bit away from you, and therefore it evades all sorts of accessibility to you. That is beyond anything that you may even imagine in your wildest dreams. That is your Atma. Accept it. That is you. Accept it. Is it just a theory? It is just a speculation. Or practically it is something that you can experience. This $1,000,000 question always arises before so many people. It looms large, especially for the younger generation. Is it so? Are things like this? Because this is something most of the people will not have heard at all in their lifetime. Why? Even during Kathopanishad times, Yama says, the Atma Jnana is something many people will not have an opportunity even to hear. Among those that hear, many cannot understand that even. Shravanayapi bahubhiriyo nalabhyaha shrunvantopi bahavo yamna vidyo. Yama himself says this in clear terminology in Kathopanishad. Yachaketa, even to hear about Atman, many will not have opportunity in their lifetime. Shravanayapi bahubhiriyo nalabhyaha shrunvantopi bahavo yamna vidyo. Even among those that have heard of that, many will fail to understand. Ascharya, because why this is happening? Ascharyo vakta kushalosya labdha. Ascharyo jnata kushala nushishtaha. The teacher must be a wonderful man. The learner also must be a wonderful man. Otherwise the subject will not be understood at all. That is the reason. Now that Nachiketa, you have been evincing all interest to know about Atma, I am so happy. I give you all the knowledge about Atma. Can anyone experience? Anyone who has attained to what is called as Nirvikalpa Samadhi in our yogic terminology. You know what is meant by Nirvikalpa Samadhi? Perhaps you all might have heard about the Kundalini Shakti. The spinal cord is there. At the bottom of the spinal cord there is Mooladhara. 7 different centers of strings, 7 different centers of consciousness are there along your spinal cord. That is Divine Mother. It is erect. Spinal cord is always erect. Therefore, Divine Mother is also called as Lamba Mekhala. Mekhala means rod. Lamba means something perpendicular to it, something straight, vertically straight. Lamba Mekhala. From Mooladhara, the lowest point in spinal cord, the topmost is here. That is Sahasrara. All along this spinal cord, there are several different levels of consciousness. Every time your mind reaches one level of consciousness, a newer ability to perceive things will come. You start seeing things which otherwise you were not able to previously because you had never reached this level of consciousness. You get promoted to next level of consciousness. Again, you are able to see so many details which otherwise you were not able to previously. Like that, your knowledge goes on increasing. And by the time your mind reaches Sahasrara, you become Sarvagya. Sarvagya, you have known. Sir, is there anything by knowing which I have known? Or, yeah, this is once you reach that position, you have known everything. You have known Brahman. Because Brahman is the material of which universe is made. Whole universe is also known to you. Brahman, having known Brahman, you become Brahman himself, or Brahman itself. Brahmavit, Brahmaiva bhavati. A knower of Brahman becomes Brahman verily. Verily he becomes Brahman only. Brahmavit, Brahmaiva bhavati. That is how you know the whole universe. There is nothing for you to know. There is nothing for you to possess. And you are immortal. There is no death for you. Your existence is absolute. Your knowledge is absolute. And your joy, your bliss is absolute. Your existence is absolute. You are Sat. Your knowledge is absolute, unlimited. You are Chit. Your joy is absolute. You are Ananda. You reach that Satchidananda Sthiti. That is the Brahman Sthiti. That is the real goal of man. Nothing less than is the goal of man according to Hindu ethology, according to Hindu ethos. Vivekananda puts it very clearly. What is dharma? He defines dharma. Each soul is potentially divine. What is divinity? Divinity is the position or the state that you reach once you have reached that Sahasrara. That is divinity. Each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest this divinity. How? By controlling nature external and nature internal. Divinity will give you the ability to control nature, whole creation external. Divinity is a state, it is a position, it is a strength whereby you control whole nature external, Each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest divinity by controlling nature external and nature internal. How to do? You do it either by the analysis of who you are, through the analysis of who you are, or by meditation, or by selfless love towards God, or by meditation, selfless love, analysis of who you are, like that. There are 4 ways whereby you can do it. All 4 ways today have come to be called as 4 yogas. By Jnana Yoga, or by Bhakti Yoga, or by Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga teaches you about meditation. Bhakti Yoga teaches you about how to love. Jnana Yoga teaches you about how to analyze who you are. And Karma Yoga by selfless service. By any of these, or by one or more, by more than one, by all of these, anyway, whatever way that is possible for you, you adopt this method for you and you reach the goal. That is the goal of man. This is religion. And what about the role of other things? All other things are secondary. Whether you know this, whether you know that, whether you follow this ritual or the other ritual, whether you follow it or not. But remember, to reach that stage, it is imperative that you follow rituals. Unless and until you follow rituals, you can't reach a stage where you have gone beyond rituals. That is one very important thing that one has to take care. Krishna puts it. Krishna cautions it again and again. You can never reach that karma rahasya, naishkarmi siddhi, that actionless state, naishkarmi siddhi, can never come to you unless and until you are already the expert in karma. First develop work efficiency, yoga karmasu kaushalam. First be an efficient man, then become a man active for a selfless cause. Then only you can reach the Naishkarma Siddhi, and suddenly you cannot reach it. But remember, this is what is called as infinitude in our scriptures. Becoming Brahman is the state where you have at your command that infinitude. Unfortunately, many will not have any taste for that. Many don't want that. We know all that, but we are not interested in that. In Paris, Vivekananda met grandson of Napoleon. Vivekananda was a great fan of Napoleon. His ship was moving by the side of Sicily, the island where Napoleon was born. The captain gave an announcement. We are moving by the side of an island called as Sicily, where Napoleon was born. Vivekananda heard this. He stood up and he put his hands like this, thereby paying homage to Napoleon. So he was a great fan of Napoleon. He met Napoleon's grandson in Paris. He asked him to come to India. Come to India. He asked Napoleon's grandson. He asked Vivekananda, what is the use if I come to India? You know what reply Vivekananda gave? Tomorrow, if death comes to you, you can hold its mustache and you can play with that as though you are playing with a puppet. I teach you, I make you that sort of a hero. I make you a hero who will be having fun with death itself. Death is the most frightening factor in the whole universe. Throughout history, the terribly frightening factor, the terribly frightening thing, if there is anything, that is death. Heroes become very much afraid at the mention of the word death. Here is Vivekananda, who is telling grandson of Napoleon, you come to me, I make you the sort of the person who will hold the moustache of death when it comes to you, and you play with that as though it is a tiny dog, as though it is a pup, or as though it is a kid, something like that. You can play with that. Come, I make you a hero of that sort. You know what did Napoleon's grandson say? No, I am not interested in all those things. I want luxuries. I am not in. Many people, this is the tragedy. This is called as Maya. Because you are all engulfed in Maya, even though so many things are waiting for you, you don't pay your attention to it. Then what are we interested in? We want luxuries, we want pleasures. Again in Kathopanishad comes, there is something Shreyas, there is something Preyas. Both approach man. An ordinary fellow will always go for Preyas, and only extraordinary will go in search of Shreyas. Shreyascha Preyascha Manushyamedaha. Tau Samparitya Vivinakti Dhiraha. Shreyo hi dhiro abhipreyaso vrunite. Preyo mando yogakshe matrunite. The manda buddhi man will go after Preya. D.V. Gundappa puts it very clearly in Kannada. Shreyas means Hagalkaya Palya. Preyas means Mysore Pak. Everybody is interested in Mysore Pak and nobody is interested in Hagalkai Palya. Hagalkai, in English what is
Bitter
it?
gourd.
Bitter gourd. Nobody wants bitter gourd. Everybody wants Mysore Pak. Bitter gourd is very good for health, but nobody wants it. Shreyas is very good. Spirituality is a discipline that makes you almost an invincible man, an all-conquering hero. But only thing is, you have to subject yourself to some sort of a rigorous discipline for some time, for which none of us is prepared. But we always want ease in life. We want only material luxuries. We are always matter. We are not beyond matter, most of the times. But that should not be the case with all of us being Indians, having come from such a great background. Remember, man who is after Shreyas will never be deprived of the beauties of Prayasivan. Just because you are going after Shreyas, just because you are after spirituality, never be under the impression you are depriving yourself of material luxuries. Material luxuries will be there far below. If you want, if you are interested, they come to your beck and call. Just look at that. All of those things will come and fall at your feet. Because when you have infinity at your disposal, how at all you can't have finite with you? When infinity is there, what is the problem in having finite? So therefore, remove this aham. Aham and Atma, almost they are at loggerheads. They are vying with each other. Atma wants to reign supreme. It wants to suppress Atma. Aham wants to subdue Atma, and it wants to sit on the throne. Now and then, whenever you go to an ashrama, whenever you listen to Sri Ramakrishna's teachings, whenever you listen to Vairagya Pradhana, scriptures like Vivekananda, sometimes Bhagavad Gita, and all that, the Atma will wake up, and it appears as though it is out of the thraldom of ego. Ego appears to be relegated to secondary position. It is only for a moment. Again, ego will come, it will throw away this Atma, it will keep itself, it will sit on the throne of your being, and it starts presiding over all your activities, all your desires, all your projects and all that. That has become the sort of life that we have been through. A sensible man, a wise man should listen to all these things, and somehow he has to make up his mind that enough, no more, no further, so far and no further. From now on, I am going to impart all the primary position, importance to Atma and not Aham. I am going to remove the tentacles of the Aham with which it has been binding this Atma. Atma should reign supreme. It must come to surface. It should be in the predominant position. A life whereby Atma comes to surface, Atma occupies superior position, Atma becomes more predominant, that is spiritual life. It is a way of life. Altogether you have to change the mode of your life. All these days you have been after material things. From now on, material things you are not going to throw away, but they occupy the secondary position. But this is not overnight possible. It is not possible. Therefore, in Hindu philosophy, in Hindu culture, we have divided the life of a man into 4 stages, 4 stages. In the Brahmacharya Ashrama, you come to know about all these things. In the Grihastha Ashrama, you are after luxuries, you are after material things. By the time you reach the age of 50 or 60, you come to realize the futility of going after only material things and never turning your attention to spiritual cause. You come to realize it. You did not realize it at the age of 25 or at 30. At the age of 60 at least, there are some people who realize the limitations of this material life, and they turn their attention towards higher cause, spiritual cause. They seek the company of sadhus, etc. That is where your Vanaprastha begins. And in Vanaprastha, you intensify your desire for realizing the infinite inside. A day will come when you are interested only in the realization of the infinite and nothing less than that. That day you sacrifice all material cause, and that phenomenon, that event, that position is called as sannyasa. Therefore, for every human being in Indian culture, sannyasa is prescribed. It is the last position, last stage that you need to adopt for your life. Brahmacharya Ashrama is there, Grihastha Ashrama is there, Vanaprastha Ashrama is there, and Sannyasa Ashrama is there. What do we do in Sannyasa Ashrama? There are 2 huge limbs for this aham. This aham, most of the times, even though that aham is there, it always functions as mamakara. Ahankara functions as mamakara. This is mine. This lady is mine. this grand fellow, he is mine, he is my son. This is mine, that is mine, this is mine, this house is mine, this great property is mine. More you tell yourself, this is mine, the aham becomes deep-rooted. Aham gets all its nourishment through the channels of mamakara. Appaya Dikshita is a great thinker from Tamil Nadu. He gives us a plan whereby we can make this mamakara get out. We can put it out. He says, Tyaktavyo mamakaraha. You have to root out this mamakara. Tyaktavyo mamakaraha. Tyaktum yadi shakyate naso. If tyakta, removing that mamakara is not possible, kartavyo mamakara. Make it your duty. Kintu sarvatra kartavya. Remove your mamakara. If it is not possible for removing mamakara, expand it. Why only this house? Even neighboring house is mine. Why only my children? Even those people are my children. I have to take care of them. Even those people are my children. Even this house is mine. These people, they are all my kith and kin. I only am there in their bodies. This is mine. I am very much concerned about their welfare too. My whole town is mine. I should work out some good project or means whereby the whole town will be able to live peacefully. The whole country is mine. Whole universe is mine. As Oliver Goldsmith used to say, I am a citizen of the world. I am a citizen of this whole world. Why only England? Why only India? I am a Vishwa Bhratratu, Sarvastaratu Durgani. That is why whenever you are doing puja to any god, what do we say? Sarvesham Mahajananam, Kshemaha, Sthairya, Vijaya Virya, Ayuhu, Arogya, Aishwarya Viruddhyartham. Let Aishwarya, Arogya, Ayusu of me only increase. We never say Sarvesham Mahajan. Let the whole world, let all the people in the world have their Sarvesham Mahajananam, Kshema, Sthairya, Vijaya, Virya. The Pujari tells this every morning and every evening. That is why those people are called Purohita. He is interested in the hita of the whole Pura. Pura means not only town, Pura means the whole world. He is interested in the welfare of the whole world. Purohita. The one who promotes, who enhances the hita of the whole Pura, he is Purohita. Every morning, every evening, every temple priest, every man who does puja in his house in India or wherever he does, if he is a Hindu, if he is doing this puja to some god, invariably before he commences, he spells out what is the purpose behind my doing this puja to this god. He spells it out in clear terms. What is it? Sarvesham Mahajanana. The whole world may get everything that it wants in terms of its health, its wealth and all that. So that is how your mamakara will be expanded. Tyaktavyo mamakaraha kintu sarvatra kartavyaha. When mamakara is removed, ahankara becomes weakened. In this process, Sri Ramakrishna says, in this process, ego is there, but it is becoming ripened. Ego is becoming ripened. A ripened ego will always enhance so many welfare activities in society, especially for gruhasthas. Elimination of ahankara and mamakara is not very easy. Therefore, what they have to do? They have to first ripen. They have to ripen their mamakara and ahankara, and afterwards they reach a stage whereby, just as a ripened fruit, automatically on its own it falls down. The ahankara and mamakara, when it reaches that ripened stage, they automatically get dropped off. That is how the ahankara will go. Once ahankara will go, mind becomes extremely pure. This is called chitta shuddhi in our scriptures. The only malinya, the only dirt that is there in our mind is ahankara and mamakara. The worst type of dirt that our mind is totally, fraught with, it is soaked in, is this ahankara and mamakara. When they become removed, then chitta shuddhi. Chittasya shuddhaye karma, Shankaracharya says. Every karma should be aimed at chitta shuddhi only. Ahankara will go. And later, the ahankara assumes the form of no doubt, I am. That feeling of I is there, but I am servant of God. Bhakti Yoga will come there. I am Dasa. I am Sakhya. Dasya Bhava, Sakhya Bhava, Vatsalya Bhava, Madhura Bhava, and Shanta Bhava. These are the 5 different relations that a Bhakta will have. This I will become sublimated when he starts thinking, I am a servant of God. I am a friend of God. Arjuna used to think, I am a friend of God. Hanuman used to think, I am servant of God. Radha used to think, I am beloved of God. They all adopted various bhavas, and when they start meditating upon that supreme lordship, as they meditate, what is the use of meditation? One day you become same with the thing that you are meditating upon. Dhyana, that is the great benefit of dhyana. That is called as Brahmarakitanya. Brahmarakitanya, just as the Kita goes on meditating upon Brahma. Kitako Brahmaradhyayan, Brahmaratvaya Kalpate. The Kita, just as it was continuously meditating upon Brahmara, one day that itself became Brahmara. Therefore, the meditator, as he goes deeply into the meditation about his chosen deity, one day he gets converted into the deity, the object of meditation itself. This is how you reach that divinity. Once you reach that divinity, your spirituality has come, your true nature has come. At will, you can exercise your transcendental consciousness. You can go to any plane that you want, just as Sri Ramakrishna used to have world tour or tour of whole cosmology, any number of times that he wanted. How many lokas he has visited, how many times he has seen Saptarishis and all that. Wherever he would go, in this Samadhi Bhava, in that Samadhi Sthiti, he would go, just that would be the beauty for which a human birth is meant, not just tidbits, not just peanuts that today we are able to get. Once your life takes this turn, it is altogether a different life in itself. That is the purpose for which man takes his birth. This is the reality about you. This is the true nature of you. Therefore, Vivekananda says, teach everyone, teach yourself, teach everyone his true nature. This is the one thing that my disciples, my followers, my shishyas, Vivekananda used to say, my shishyas must always do. Go to every doorstep, teach everyone his true nature. Make everyone come out of this hypnotism of weakness. Now he has been hypnotized into lures of aham. Make everyone come out of this hypnotism of weakness. It's a weak thing. It is the weakness of man that is so much lured by the implications of aham. What is this aham? A little thing. Nothing compared with the glory of self. So come out of this hypnotism of weakness. What will be the result? Power will come. Purity will come. Glory will come. Goodness will come. Everything that is excellent will come once the soul is roused to the self-conscious activity. Today you are not self-conscious. You are conscious of so many other things. Self-conscious activity, when it starts taking place, power will come, purity, glory, goodness, everything will. After all, it is these things that today we are all after. We are after power, we are after glory, we are after goodness. One day, one part of your life is for power, other part of your life is for something else. Why waste your time? Why waste your energy? Go back to Mundukopanishad and adopt the methodology that student wanted to adopt. Sir, is there anything by knowing which I have known everything? I am sure this very student one day must have asked the teacher some other question also, even though there is no mention about that in Mundukopanishad. What he must have asked, I very much guess. Sir, is there anything by possessing which I have possessed everything? Logical corollary of this first question. Is there anything by knowing which I have known all? If that is his attitude, if that is his mentality, the same mindset will make him also ask the question, is there anything by possessing which I have possessed everything? And the teacher also must have said, yes, there is a thing called as Brahman. There is a thing called as your own Atman, by possessing which you have possessed everything. And remember, this was the watchword of India, right from Rigvedic days up to the Gupta period. It is only after the invasion of the outsiders, it's only after the invasion of outside forces that we forgot all those things. There was no time. The very existence itself became a great threat. When man's existence itself is threatened, when a Hindu has been threatened, his very existence is threatened. Where is time for studying all these things? Where is time for the propagation of all those things? At least now, we have freed ourselves from all such threats, unwanted threats. India is no more in such threats. From now onwards, we must pay all our attention for the study, assimilation, and the propagation of all these great truths. That is the reason why Hindu temples are there. It's impossible for a Hindu to live without a temple being there in his neighborhood. He may say goodbye to anything in his life. He may say goodbye even to his life, but a Hindu can never say goodbye to God. He can never say goodbye to a temple. Some beautiful temple is coming over here. Each and every one of you, you must strengthen this cause. Give whatever that is possible for you. I mean to say, go out of your way to see that a grand temple comes here. So many activities take place here, lectures of this sort will take place here, and every Hindu will come to understand what a glorious blood that is there coursing through his veins and arteries. I am not an ordinary man. Vivekananda wanted every Hindu to think like that. He himself used to say, I am one of the proudest men ever born on this earth. Vivekananda says, I quote, I am one of the proudest men ever born on this earth, and I trace my pride to my ancestry. My ancestors were so great. What an amount of knowledge they have unearthed, Vedic rishis, and how Vedas have come. For knowing all these things, there is no other way for you than to go to Vivekananda. Unless and until you study Vivekananda, you will never come to understand and appreciate the greatness of India. That is why the first Nobel laureate from the whole Asia, Rabindranath Tagore, told his friend, another Nobel laureate from France, Robert Rolla, when Robert Rolla asked Rabindranath Tagore to suggest a source material with which he would be able to write a book on India, which he was very much interested in. I want to write a book on India, I am very much interested. Rolla said, is there any reliable source material? For which Rabindranath Tagore says, if you want to know India, study Vivekananda. Everything is positive in him, nothing negative. There are so many histories of India full of negativities. Catherine Mayo, I think one great American lady, she came to India to write a book on India only. She met Mahatma Gandhi, took the blessings of Mahatma Gandhi, went around all important things, and later she wrote a book about India. Mahatma Gandhi went through that book, and you know what was his remark? What was his reaction? I never knew that this lady is inspector of drains. I never knew that this lady has been an inspector of drains. She has been a drainage inspector. She has written every rubbish thing about Indian society. Remember, whenever there is a society, wherever there is a town, there is a bit of slum area also. Go anywhere in the world. In every house, there is a toilet. Of course, in a dignified way, we may call it as a restroom, but still it is toilet. There is a toilet room in every house. In every town, there is an area normally prohibited. We loathe. We don't prefer to go to that area. Everywhere, the whole creation is a mixture of good and bad. A sensible man, a prudent man must set his eyes on good things and keep aside all the bad things. The best treatment that you can have for the bad things in life is to simply ignore it. That is the most dignified and the best way of treating bad things, loathsome things. But what did this lady do, Catherine Mayo? And like so many other people belonging to her own tribe, they write about books about India, only rubbish things we see, all nonsensical things. Aryans came from outside India, South Indians, they resemble Africans. Some great man in India has said recently, South Indians resemble Africans, western part of Indians, they resemble Arabs, and eastern part of India, people there, they resemble Chinese, and what about northern part? They resemble Israelis or Greeks, something of that. All sorts of rubbish things are there about India. But Vivekananda is an exception. Rabindranath Tagore says, if you want to study, if you want to know India, study Vivekananda. Everything is positive and nothing negative. This great Vivekananda, he gives a portrait of how Vedas came into existence, with which I am going to conclude my speech. What did he say? The best and the most brilliant brains of India retired to forest. Swamiji says, the best and the most brilliant brains of India retired to forest and took themselves to the study of man from all possible angles, leaving aside every other pursuit in life. They left aside every other pursuit, concentrated their whole energy and time on the study of man. They studied man from all possible angles to the exclusion of all other pursuits. And the study was carried on for 50 long centuries. For 5,000 years, the study was carried on. The result is Vedanta, the basis of Indian culture. Vedanta or the Upanishads or the Vedas, this is how Vedas came into existence. The labor of 5,000 years undertaken by the best and the most brilliant brains of India. Therefore, even today, there is not a single sentence in the Veda which you can put aside, which you can say, this is nonsense. It's out of place. It doesn't make sense. Can anyone in this world show one sentence in the Vedas? Why? Your own thinker, a great American thinker, Henry David Thoreau, a great friend of Emerson, Henry David Thoreau, Emerson and Walt Whitman. It is these three people that built up the transcendental movement, which is the basis of American culture today. Henry David Thoreau, he says, one sentence in the Vedas is worth the state of Massachusetts many times over. Harvard University is there in Massachusetts, MIT is there in Massachusetts, Harvard School of Law, Harvard School of Economics, all these institutions of international reputation, international standing, world standing, global standing, they are all there in the state of Massachusetts. Thoreau says one sentence in the Vedas is worth the state of Massachusetts many times over. There is not a single sentence which doesn't make sense in the Vedas. Look at the inventions of, right from Dalton. Dalton says something about the fundamental material. 50 years later, it fizzles out, falls down. Some other great man comes, he invents some other thing. 50 years later, it fizzles. J.J. Thomson comes, he gives some picture, it fizzles out. His son will come, both will get Nobel Prize. Third person will come. The fundamental material is a particle, he is given Nobel Prize. Fundamental material is a wave, he also is given Nobel Prize. Sometimes it is particle and sometimes it is wave. He is also given the Nobel Prize. Is there any accurate version of you, scientists? Can you accurately say the nature of the building material of the universe? Why? My country has said that. We have said that. Maya, the material of which the universe is made, it is uncertain. Mahadbhuta, Anirvachaneya Rupa. Only about 100 years ago, that Heisenberg came out with the principle called as uncertainty principle. And final corroboration for uncertainty principle came from Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore said, yes, exactly. What you call as uncertainty principle is Maya for us. We say like that. Neither you can say whether there is Maya, nor you can say whether it is not. This is uncertainty. Today morning I said that. Sannapi, asannapi, ubhayatmikano, sangapi, anangapi, ubhayatmikano, bhinnapi, abhinnapi, ubhayatmikano, mahadbhuta, anirvachaniya rupa, undefinable. Maya is undefinable, uncertain. It evades all definitions. That is the meaning of mithya. This jagat is mithya. Mithya means not something that is absent. Shankara never said that. Something you cannot exactly describe the nature of it. That is mithya. He himself says very clearly. When I say mithya, I don't mean to say something like the horn of a hare, which never exists. When I say mithya, I don't mean to say son of a barren woman, which never exists. When I say mithya, I only mean something that you cannot clearly and exactly define. This is so. You cannot say something of that sort about Maya, the building material of the universe. Only 100 years ago, Western scientists are able to perceive all these things. While Acharya did it 1500 years ago, and he did it based on Upanishads, and Upanishads are based on Rigveda Samhita only. When Rigveda Samhita came into existence, according to Balagangadhar Tilak, 70,000 years ago. This is India. Lord Curzon says, India has contributed for the spirituality, religion, philosophy, mathematics and such other great parameters that are needed for the glory of man more than any other terrestrial unit. Curzon says. Remember, Curzon was not a friend of India. When he was Viceroy of India, he never did anything good for India. But afterwards he went to Oxford, became Chancellor of it, wrote a book about India based on his experiences that he had when he was there as Viceroy of this country, and what a glorious terminology he has used for describing India. Curzon acknowledges, everybody acknowledges, Thoreau acknowledges. And the only set of people that do not acknowledge the glory of India is Indians themselves. It has to come from West. A Westerner should say, your country is great. Is it so? Yes, our country is great. This mentality of an Indian, mindset of an Indian should go. Towards that, almost all of us will have to work. Thank you so much. In a nutshell, I have given an introductory note of what spirituality means. What I emphasized upon this is, it is a training where man gets everything that today he aspires for. There are so many ways. You do your MBA, you do your engineering, you do your research work and all those things for bettering the human conditions, for bettering your own condition. Here is one science, beautiful science, where you can catch hold of the repository of all human energy, glory, goodness, purity, power and whatnot. There is a repository of all these great traits that a man is in need of, man aspires for today, by bagging which you have in your possession everything that you wanted. That is spiritual training. And therefore, dharma, first and foremost thing a person has to do is to pay attention to dharma. First pay your attention to dharma. Then everything else will come. This has been the declaration of India. I am so happy that I never thought one day I will be in this Irvine city near Los Angeles. Los Angeles I had heard of. This place, Irvine, I never had till Vidyasagar and Aruna came here. I never knew that there existed a place like Irvine. It was the dispensation of Lord Ramakrishna that today I could come here, spend a few moments with you all. Even though the number is very small, your reception has been extraordinary, really. So happy for your reception, for your attention and all that. I wholeheartedly thank all the people, all my brothers, sisters, responsible for this event to have taken place. I wish you all the best. One day I want to come to this place when this place has grown to be a huge temple, exemplary of its kind in the whole United States. I want to see that day at my earliest. May this temple grow to be, as I said, something remarkable. If anybody wants to build up any temple, he should come here, observe all this, and he should try to replicate the whole thing in his own place. May this temple grow to be that sort of a great resort, spiritual resort, and everyone that comes here may find out the true fulfillment of his life. Such a place this temple may become. That is my prayer to all the lords here. Thank you so much. Jai Ramakrishna. It is customary in Ramakrishna Ashram programs that we end with Jaika. Shall we do so? Yes. Jai Shri Bhagavan Ramakrishna Paramahamsa Dev Ki Jai. Jai Shri Mata Shri Sharadamani Devi Ki Jai. Jai Shri Mat Swami Vivekananda Ji Maharaj Ji Ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Durga Mai Ki Jai.
So pranam to Swamiji. Why pranam? I should say Sashtang Dandat pranam, right? Right? Swamiji, I never thought that I will be there for all time. Most of you also probably did not think. Okay? But we were all engrossed, right? Totally glued to him, right? Totally without looking around anywhere this thing. What a beautiful thing he told. We all want prayers, but in prayers is Shreyas. When we overcome prayers, then Shreyas will be there. So my pranam again to Swamiji. Swamiji very correctly and rightly has told us that he wants to see this mandir grow. Any mandir grow for that matter, right? Any mandir. And I want to, most of you know, and I want to submit to Swamiji that mandir has already purchased a building somewhere probably 5-6 miles away from this place. And we plan to move there somewhere in middle of August. It's a bigger facility. Yes, as Swamiji rightly said that whatever it is, we should keep donating. Right? Swamiji clearly said this thing. Then only our dharma will survive. Last Swamiji said, everything is by dharma and nothing else. Correct? So Swamiji has himself said that we should, whatever, whenever we can, we should donate. I always tell, by learning from Swamiji, that Hindus have become lazy. Okay? Lazy. Like he said, no, if it comes from Western source, we say, oh, right. But when it comes from our own source, we don't say anything. So I always say that Hindus must donate 2%. How much? 2% of their income for what? For local mandir, wherever they are. And 2% for our advocacy, because there is a lot of Hindu hatred is all around. And 2% to pay the debt in Bharat. Right? Otherwise, how Ramakrishna mission and all this will survive? Correct? We have got everything on a silver plate, golden plate from Bharat. And if we don't give, what will happen? Correct? Right? The biggest problem with Hindus is that we have a lot of money, but in donation we are very, very poor. So we die rich. what is the use of dying rich? Our kids don't need our money at all. So this is my humble request, and I am grateful that all of you have come. And again my pranam, Sashtang Dandat pranam to Swamiji.
Thank you.
We can have a small session of question and answer. If anybody have any questions, Puja Swamiji.
Yes,
Anybody have any questions?
questions are welcome.
I have one question. So I had a question on what would be classified as a material desire. For example, let's say you're a parent and you want your child to have a good house. Would you as a parent, have a materialistic desire if you want your child to have a good house?
Definitely nothing wrong in that. You must have good health, good body, good physique, everything that is comfortable. You must have all your comforts, but you should not lose yourself in pursuit of material comforts. There are higher calls in life. What is that higher call? Spiritual call. There is sensate call of sensory world, sensate world. Fine, no bad, but you should not stop your journey there. You have to pass through all that sense pleasure, organic satisfaction. Through all those things one has to pass, but ultimately his goal should be the one by possessing which you have possessed everything else. So that should be your goal. Anywhere in between, you should not stop. Okay, no problem.
Namaste Swamiji. I had a slightly different question. I've been struggling with this concept for a very long time. What is the concept of samay, time, according to our scriptures? Is time moving or is it still, or in this universe? What is time?
There is nothing like time at all. The concept of time has no meaning unless there is a moment. Movement can take place only in the finite world. Only there is multiplicity of finite things. Then only there can be movement. But reality is not finite. So in your Nirvikalpa Samadhi, when you have only unified existence, only existence is there, no compartmentalization of existence. All the subtlest of all factors in the whole created world is existence. So when existence is infinite, then there is no movement. Time will go away. Time, that is the endeavor of man. That should be the endeavor of man. You should go beyond the sense of time. You should go beyond the sense of space. You should go beyond the sense of causation. Strictly speaking, these three are one and the same. Time, space and causation are one and the same. You should go beyond all these things. Time is there only in the mind of man. Change the state of your mind, your time unit also will change. Time depends upon the evolution of the species. For an ant, the concept of time is much different from the concept of that a man has got, because we have difference in the evolutionary level. Time is a variable that depends upon your level of evolution, that depends upon the state of mind, even while talking to all the people belonging to same level of evolution. There are several people belonging to same level of evolution, even there, depending upon their state of mind. If you are listening to something very much interesting, so interesting, something very much interesting, you are listening to, you are engrossed, your time sense will go away. You have listened to that for about 2 hours, you feel as though you listened to it only for 2 minutes. So, time is a sort of awareness that again depends upon the moment and the awareness of the mind. So that is the concept that time is discussed as in Indian yathas.
Swamiji, is there a time?
Time.
Is there a time?
Yeah, same thing that he asked. Yeah, as I said, time has got virtual existence. It doesn't have real existence. Your time, remember, you can make time stop. You can make time. There is no moment of time at all. Why? Every day we experience it in our deep sleep state. We are not aware of time at all when you are in deep sleep state. When you are in deep sleep state, you are not aware of your space sense at all. There is no space sense. You are not conscious of the space where you are. You are not conscious of the time that is elapsing when you are there in the deep sleep state. So time will go away, sense of space also will go away, sense of causation also will go away when you are in a deep sleep state. But it is not everlasting. After some time again you come back to your waking state. Is there any way whereby the flow of time can be totally stopped? Yeah, there is a way. That is the purpose of meditation. That is the purpose.
This is you, this is him. One, there is no time.
Yeah, there is no time.
There's no-
Yes. In unity, there is no time. In infinity, there is no time.
Sir Pranam, the state which you defined, when if there is something which I know, after that no knowledge is there.
Yeah.
If there is something which I possess, after that no possession is left to
Yeah.
be possessed.
Yeah.
Is that the state which commonly called moksha?
Brahman, moksha. Moksha is the state where you are to become eligible for the possession of that. And the possessed being is Brahman. Brahman is the repository of all knowledge, all bliss. Yes,
Any other questions?
yes. That lady wants to ask a question.
Namaste Swamiji. The scripture says our life is dharma, artha, kama, moksha. The kama is always there, but even aspiring for moksha, is it considered as kama?
That will not be counted as kama. Kama will be kama as long as it is pertaining to something finite in nature. Anything where the pursuit is after infinite, it will lose all its taints. Kama has a bit of taint that will go away if you are pursuing. See, Radha fell in love with Krishna, but that is not really, it is not neither prema, it is not at all kama, it is not even prema, it is something beyond. Something beyond, like that. Not at all, that is not kama. It is the opposite of it, totally opposite of it.
Because we consider
Kama actually, it tarnishes a person, while the prema, it purifies a person. A moksha kamsham, aspiration after moksha, it purifies, sublimes, it expands, it strengthens, it elevates a person.
Thank you.
All right. Again, pranams to Puja Swamiji and thanks for spending time with us.
Thank you.
We'll have Aarti and then Prasad. Please stay for Aarti and Prasad. Requesting Suresh ji.
Om Namo Brahmane Namo Astvataye Namo Prathyavye Namo Shadebhya Namo Vache Namo Vachaspataye Namo Vishnave Bruhate Karomi Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
When you will be finishing your 6th grade pretty soon.
Yeah, pretty soon.
I have learned little Kannada, so I'll say Dhanyavad Galu to Swamiji. Right?
Nimgo Dhanyawad.
Oh, Telugu.
Yes. I know Telugu, I can speak it.